Here we are. Here we are. Welcome to Coffee, Eggs and Inspiration. It's a weekly show that goes out over YouTube and as a podcast over all of the major channels. And each week I get to sit with an inspiring person and listen to them tell their story and share it with all of you. This week is no different. I'm joined by Jamie Rawsthorne. Welcome, Jamie.
Oh, great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Jamie is a professional YouTuber who's one half of the Zac and Jay Show, the Jay half, a co-creator of that show, 700 subscribers, 50 million views. Both Zac and Jay have big social followings also on Twitter and Instagram, so real influencers, and have built a business and a profession out of this. By way of background, Jamie attended the University of West England, did an entrepreneurship degree there, and started by founding his own company. Actually, he's an entrepreneur himself, called Unique Insights, working with predictive software to identify students who are at risk of dropping out, and did that for a bit, sort of walking the talk of the entrepreneurship. And then very soon after, started YouTube. It blew up, went mad, and here we are today. What a fascinating history, and it's not much of a history. You're still starting out in life, Jamie. Tell me how you met Zac, your partner in crime.
Yeah, so we were on this University of West of England entrepreneurship degree, and weirdly, I never really wanted to go to university. I've always, as a 16-year-old kid, for as long as I remember, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, a hustler, never wanted a job, never wanted any of that. And I remember telling my parents, my mum was a head teacher, my dad was a university lecturer at Manchester Uni. I don't want to go to university. I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to do an internship for free at this co-working space in Manchester. I was going to all these networking events. I literally just didn't have anything to say, to be honest, but I was just going to these networking events, and just university didn't seem the right choice for entrepreneurship. Yet they were absolutely horrified. So they were searching for degrees for me. And so my cousin, like everyone in my family was on this fight to get me to go to university. So she found this university entrepreneurship degree, my cousin did, and there I met Zac and a load of other kind of young troublemakers who've ended up being entrepreneurs in so many different weird fields of the world, which my parents have no idea about. And it was only when I realized that entrepreneurship degree would give me 3 years kind of runway to create any sort of business. I'd be with like-minded people. I had coaches there, which were kind of as part of the program, that I kind of realized that actually that would be even better than just doing the work experience, because I could do the work experience on top. And that was where I met Zac. I worked with another student on the degree for 4 years before I left that business and then joined Zac in the YouTube game. So it was an interesting degree that definitely had a lot of interesting characters. That's a lot of interesting projects come out of it.
Sounds like it. Well, it led to your first business, but very shortly after that, you fell into YouTube. 2018, I think it was. We're filming this in 2020, so 2 years into it. How did that happen? Was that deliberate? Did you plan to do it?
It was weirdly deliberate and weirdly by accident. There was a stage where I was selling this software to universities, and that business, I didn't really, in my mind as a kid, I always thought entrepreneur was one job. Like, it was just to be an entrepreneur. It's to have no boss, and if you're an entrepreneur, you are happy. If you're a successful entrepreneur, you are rich and happy. And that was it, really. But I didn't really realize running a software company looks very different to being an entrepreneur who's in the YouTube space. And essentially running a software company, selling software to universities, isn't that fun, or wasn't that fun for me anyway. So I was going up to Aberdeen, I was going to everywhere in the UK, Cardiff, London all the time, York, just literally going all the way around the country in a suit, which was a Marks and Spencer's cheap suit. I remember it so vividly. Bolton, all these universities just selling software that it seemed in my mind, it was a great idea that the quality of the actual enterprise software when you pulled it all together, we definitely had our teething issues, but it was a great idea. I really believed in it. But the universities just simply didn't. We were stopping students dropping out using predictive analytics, using the data that they already had and actually just extracting more value out of it, and really kind of adding value to the students' life and stopping them drop out when they're at the most kind of vulnerable state, and stopping them hopefully entering a downward spiral where if you drop out, you're that's going to reflect in all areas of your life. You're going to feel like a failure. So I really believed in it, but it was just knocking my head against the door in these corporate rooms of executives who just didn't want to see a 22-year-old kid, 21-year-old kid in a suit sell software, that they needed to hand over their student data, that was a 30 grand investment. And I was losing, like, to run it, I had a full-time developer, I had a few kind of freelancers. It was like $6 grand a month. And the way that the kind of payment schemes worked was they'd pay me like 30 grand, pretty much in a chunk fee. And I had a couple of them, and then I'd have that money all in my bank account, and then have to use the next, like, be quite careful with the monthly expenditure and the burn rate to just make that last until next year's sales. So I was just kind of losing 5, 6, 7, 8 grand a month, just watching the money go down, and like, this just isn't that fun. And yeah, me and Zac, we kind of just started sneaking into places as students, just for a bit of mischief, really, for our own personal reasons. But I remember sneaking backstage at Skepta once and thinking, if I recorded that whole thing, I just saw a load of staff behind the bar grabbing with a load of drinks, going backstage, and I just grabbed a bin and went backstage, and I was having drinks. I got kicked out, but the security guard went, before I got kicked out, went, whoa, wait, let me tell you how I got in, then you can kick me out. I told them that I grabbed the bin, and Skepta was like, mate, that's fucking cool, you can stay. So I was like, oh my God, that is amazing. What? Just the world opened up to me, basically. I said, if that was filmed, that could have definitely gone viral. And that's what me and Zac just kind of started doing, really. We just started going viral. We started sneaking into places. So me and Zac, the first one we did was 2016 Olympic bus. The Olympic heroes were, for the first time, parading in Manchester instead of just London. There was like hundreds of thousands of people waiting to watch them. And me and Zac bought the discounted JJB sports tracksuits and a £15 gold medal off eBay. It looked pretty identical. We were surprised at how good it looked. And yeah, kind of on the day, I had a flat in Manchester at the time. We just, 5 minutes from my flat, just left, had the kit on, got ushered on the coach with the fencing team. And yeah, we made Sky News that day because Sky News was interviewing us, and I accidentally said that we won the Olympics, and that's why we were on the bus, as opposed to won the fencing in the Olympics. Oh yeah, and it actually turned out that fencing wasn't even a sport in the Olympics either. It was, I think it was pentathlete, so that was it. So
right.
So that got millions of views on BBC. It went everywhere. The Guardian, the Times, just every mainstream newspaper covered it. And that was yeah.
You must have had cameras with you, right? Did you have cameras or just smartphones, or what were you using?
Yeah, Zac had his. I think that was all actually iPhone job. That one. Zac does have his DSLR camera. But yeah, we did that in the flat, and then it was just all iPhones from there on out, really. But that was an interesting one because I remember pitching at University of Bolton after that, and someone saying, I had quite a few people recognize me, and so did Zac, and someone said, "You're looking very similar. You look very similar." And I was trying to get him to give me 25 grand here, and I was like, yeah. I've just got a very familiar face. It's basically I was trying to get out of it, and yeah. So then I had to kind of park the sneaking in stuff. As much fun as it was, I thought the potential was in my business, not the YouTube side. So Zac went on to continue sneaking into places and created his own YouTube channel, which ended up getting to about 120,000 subscribers on the Zac Allsop channel. And then kind of about a year later, he finally persuaded me to leave my boring job and business to then do YouTube full time. And then there still was a bit of like unsure on like whether I'm joining him or like what's going on. Do I join the existing channel? But we ended up deciding just creating our new channel, which was the Zac and Jay Show 2 years ago. And yeah, haven't looked back.
And what was that? That must have been a difficult decision at the time, was it, Jamie? I mean, did you talk about that with your parents and deliberate long and hard, or?
Yeah, it's so strange. I really do look back on it and say, like, how can the most difficult decision of my life be the easiest decision at the time, be the easiest decision looking back? It really was just such an obvious decision to to leave a business that I hate. Yeah, hate's a strong word, but I think I may have got close to hating it. Yeah, so yeah, it was something that Zac said. Zac said, what does success look like if you stay at this business? And I was like, I'm going to be the technology developer and provider for universities in the UK and worldwide. And we're going to massively update their processes with the best end tech in this massively technologically deprived sector that is still a huge, huge sector. But I was like, hang on a minute, that's going to take 15, 20 years minimum. And I probably will not be able to do that. I will probably fail as a startup owner. And I was like, do I really, is that the bet I'm looking at? If the advantages of spending 15 to 20 years in a place that isn't going to really, like, I don't enjoy the place, am I willing to fail to make this a success? And I realized kind of there and then, or do YouTube where the best case scenario is 10 years or 2 years with my best mate having as much fun as we can. The best that's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is doing all of that and making a shitload of money and having a big impact in the world and being able to create any other business on top of the existing platform and audience that we've built. And that was the no-brainer, really. But even then, it was still kind of a slow, like, it was a couple months after that, and I was like, right, finally, I'm done. Yeah.
Well, from one startup to the next, when you made that commitment with Zac and started producing more content, was there a time you thought it would fail?
Yeah. Weirdly, there was no time whatsoever that it was going to fail before we launched it. If anything, we were uber overconfident that it was a no-brainer. Where in about a year and a half, Zac had got 120,000 subscribers. I was like, together we'd be able to get that in 6 months easy. But it was essentially a lot harder than I thought and we thought. About 5 months in, we had 45,000 subscribers. We both had about 20. I had about 25 grand. Zac had about 20, 25 grand as well. I can't remember exactly, but we both had like a set amount of money, basically a year's salary. And we were like, right, we are just going to go hell for leather. I moved to London for it. Yeah, we were 5 months in. We'd gone to 45,000 subscribers. We'd made about 3 grand in a brand deal, like no way near enough. There's like 5 grand going out every month with video, like the production and our salaries and everything just to keep us alive. We had about 2 months, 3 months left. And it just wasn't looking good. I remember speaking to our mentor and saying, like, we're not desperate yet, but if nothing crazy happens, like the trajectory isn't looking great. But weirdly enough, kind of that next week, like literally it was a week later, we had a video that took off and got us an extra 150,000 subscribers over the next 6 weeks, which equated to around £15,000 in ad money, and then enabled us to get a brand. Oh no, it was about £12,000 ad money, and then enabled us to get a brand deal, which was worth £15,000 because we had this bigger platform. So yeah, literally like within 2 weeks, the whole channel's success, or not even success, but like runway went from 2 months, 3 months to the rest of the year. Like we got an extra kind of 10 months out of that 25 grand.
Just turned on a dime, so to speak. And I've seen that video, and 17 million others have as well.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, that video went crazy. Yeah. So essentially, it was a weird one. We were Googling ideas, or I was Googling ideas. That was kind of the role split. Zac was editing. I don't really know how to edit, or don't at all know how to edit, and I'm crap at filming as well. But yeah, I was kind of more focusing on the ideas and the production of the ideas, just while I had the headspace. It's a lot more equal on the ideas now. Yeah, so Paris Fashion Week, London Fashion Week was coming up. I was like, right, there's got to be something we can do there. We thought of, just basically grabbing our mate, putting him in the worst clothes possible and seeing if we can trick the paparazzi into thinking he was a top model. And I think it's safe to say that we did that, really. Yeah, the videos, I think it's on like 17 or 18 million views now. It got like 7, but it went super international. It got 77 million views on the Chinese social media app Weibo, which is weird. We were trying to get an account, and it was so hard to do. It was a difficult one. But yeah, that went crazy. That went absolutely crazy and changed the game for us.
And you went from strength to strength. So shortly Shortly after that, I think you did the video around, you posted 100 letters, right, to mansions around London, I guess, asking if you could be let in.
Yeah,
pretty
literally. Yeah. We posted curiosity. I always talk a lot about emotional intensity and how can you evoke the most amount of emotion in videos or in anything that you do. I think with songs, we talk about in music, even marketing, products, everything. Emotional intensity is good. Is good. And for the London Fashion Week one, it was curiosity. Oh my god, is this going to work? It was the nerve-wracking because he literally looked so dumb in our outfits. Is he going to walk down this in public? Surely not. He had a pink rug around his head. Oh my god, it was full. These fashion people who are super good looking and super rich and don't ever work, they know nothing. Ha 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 ha. There was like kind of the society's image of this high-end fashion thing not working. And with this letters of mansions in London, there's two things really. There was a trend going around on YouTube, but the other one was this curiosity of what is behind these mega rich people in London. What are their houses looking like? And that kind of curiosity, was the emotion that we kind of focused on with that one. And there was also kind of another thing, kind of advice for if you're on YouTube, if this is helpful in that sense, was that there was a trend going around YouTube, which was I DM'd 100 celebrities and this is what they said, or this is what happened. And you can still type that into this day, and the whole front page is covered with that exact same title, with exact same thumbnails. And the first guy to do it got millions of views. Then other people did it and did really well for their own channels. And we've never really been a fan of that, but we could tell what is the psychology of why people click on it. It is the kind of the curiosity behind what happens if you've got a blue tick. What do the celebrities say? And we just kind of try to apply that in a different way, which is a real life application of going inside mansions, really. So,
right. And it's hugely entertaining content. Very funny, and you guys do it thoughtfully as well and respectfully. It's important to note. It's not all fun and games, though, is it? It's a hard, it's not an easy thing to be a YouTuber. It's hard work. You have to come up with ideas constantly that are original and engaging. How do you do that?
Yeah, I actually think the first 6 months of running the YouTube channel were probably the hardest of mine and probably Zac's careers. And that's gone from like a software company where we had developers that were predicting, that were developing algorithms that was on predictive analytics with control data and testing data, building up the models, and then using the data outputs of that into kind of a web application that was built as well, and then selling that whole thing that was packaged up to universities, these institutions. I honestly think YouTube was harder. It was probably more simple, but it was still a lot harder, where there was video a week was pretty relentless, was very relentless, in fact. Editing at least three days of that, Zac is. Then you've got to film a video in a day, pretty much. Some of them take 2 days, and then you're already kind of scrambling. There's it's tough. It's tough. And I think as well, like the bar to YouTube now is, if you want to be a YouTuber influencer, or a YouTuber who gets paid off ad money and brand deals just from YouTube, the bar's kind of never been higher, where there's never been more people in the space. And as a result of the increased demand or the increased supply, the demand, I feel like, is maybe not stayed the same. Like demand is increasing, but I think because there's such high supply, like the value of it goes down, and you're competing on quality of edits, quality of ideas, how often you can post. We're just seeing ridiculous levels. Like creators are spending £15,000-20,000. Mr. Beast is throwing hundreds of thousands of pounds at each video. The bar is just so high at the moment. It's pretty crazy.
And you can see that in the quality, and it's relentless and hard work. You're also putting yourself out there, aren't you? You're in the public eye, and I'm sure you're getting recognized a lot more these days than when you were selling software. What's that like?
It's a weird one, to be honest. It's quite weird because like, when I thought about joining YouTube, I literally just didn't think about what do you want to be famous, essentially? Do you want to be known? Do you want to be able to, and so that kind of took me by surprise. One, that I didn't think about that, because it's kind of obvious, like, to be successful on YouTube you kind of have to be known. But yeah, two, yeah, that it is quite a weird feeling. It's you'd think it'd be good, you'd think it'd be universally good, having someone say, I like your vids, I like your vids, I like your vids, and that side is great. But yeah, it definitely takes some getting used to. But yeah, overall it's great. Like, everyone who says it, there's never a problem with the individuals. Everyone's always super nice, and yeah, it does make you feel good, I suppose, that your creations are appreciated.
The accidental celebrity, and we've got to know each other a little bit. You're, I would say, first and foremost an entrepreneur, and still an entrepreneur, and that's very much what you're doing now. And really interested to hear your ideas, Jamie, having built a big influencer platform on social and on YouTube. What do you think the possibilities are for expanding that, and what are the possibilities for brands that may be interested in working with YouTubers?
I think there's huge possibilities in both. I think, yeah, there's so much I could say on both of those things. What I'll say on the opportunity side of being a creator, a lot of businesses, the first thing that they go, like, a lot of businesses kind of build an amazing product that costs a lot to build, and then they need a shitload of seed money, seed investment, to then use to invest and bring customers to us, to the platform that they've built. And such a key thing that investors want is, what is the traction like in your existing product? YouTubers are in a great position where the money is very good if you can get to the top percent, and I think we're in the stage where we've got good financial reserves, where we're kind of living at a comfortable level. The business account has got that, so we've got kind of financial capital to inject in it without kind of investment, and we've got a huge core of people which we can just kind of test products on. We can really work out what's how product market fit, get to product market fit with a select people who absolutely love us in the first place. Like, they already love us. That, like, the idea of us, an extension of us in the form of a product, it kind of doesn't really matter what product it is. Like, they will jump at it, which is amazing. One thing that someone mentioned to me, which I actually didn't appreciate, but your ability to open doors as a quote unquote influencer, just even with a blue tick. Like, I literally network all the time. That's how we know. I message you on LinkedIn, but on Instagram you can just open doors a lot quicker with a blue tick. I don't have one on Twitter yet, but yeah, I'm messaging people on Twitter all the time. Just being kind of a YouTuber and a so-called influencer just turns kind of heads in a weird way, where it's I'm very excited to see what we go on to create, but also what other YouTubers create. And I do think that is kind of highly underappreciated in every kind of market or segment outside of YouTube. I think a lot of YouTubers know how opportunistic the space is, because they make a lot of money from merch. But I think I think the next developments of influencers will be big. The thing that got me was that the youngest self-made billionaire in the world, she's not a tech genius, or he or she is not a tech genius that's gone from Harvard and stuff. Like, Mark Zuckerberg may have been the youngest billionaire, but it was an influencer. It was Kylie Jenner with her makeup brand, which essentially she built from being an influencer and nothing. But she's not a makeup genius, or maybe she is, but she's way more an influencer genius as opposed to a kind of a genius in any other space first. So yeah, I think it's
and like a good example, and like Kylie, your loyalty is first and foremost, I think, to the fan base, the followers that you've built. So I guess you're quite selective in how you use that platform, right? It's not just anyone who can rock up. Obviously, there's advertising that shows on your content, which is algorithmically controlled, but who you select personally to work with is something that you need to align to your fan base and your own values. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And the other point on the brand side, which kind of merges with this point, is I think YouTube offers brands a very unique opportunity to be able to intertwine kind of the brand with something that people already love in a creative way. Brands are always going to agencies and saying, right, we want to launch this. How do we make it creative? Well, everything we do as Zac and Jay is creative. We don't do it if it's not creative. We don't do it if it doesn't evoke emotion. If a brand wants to work with us and they can give us so much money, but if it's going to bore our audience, we're just going to say no, because then we will lose our audience. So, and that's where there's so much opportunity, and that's kind of what we are. We're nothing without our audience. So, yeah, I think that's a great opportunity for brands to work with YouTubers who can help kind of shape the script around their style and flair, which I think with TV you don't really get. Like, the quality of the content has to be so good that the content that people are there for, when that switches off, the viewers stay. When in YouTube, the quality of the branded integration or the quality of the branded content could just be the content which the audience absolutely loves in its own right. So I think that's unique as well.
That is a really interesting distinction that you just draw there between sort of video on demand, like a YouTube, versus a broadcast equivalent. Fantastic. So look, if you're a brand and you're interested in working with the Zac and Jay Show, best way to get in touch with you, Jamie, I guess, is a direct message over one of your social platforms.
Yeah, or just shoot me an email, jay@zacandjay.com.
There you go. I'll link it below for anyone who's interested. Now, one of the things that you're starting to explore is different ways of using the footprint that you've got for social purpose. You're a very socially minded guy, and this is actually how you and I met. Would you like to talk about some of the things that we're doing together in the record business?
Yeah. I've always been intrigued before on how we can use that platform to promote music artists. Essentially, a key thing of the content that we produce is kind of we shine a light pretty much in every video on underrated artists, or in our mind, underrated artists, or just great artists without an audience. And yeah, our audience are really appreciative of it. Artists are really appreciative of it. And I've always thought, like, what could we do if we package that up in some way and really kind of shone a light on one artist for 3 months? And yeah, so you set up the record label, Big Community Records, and yeah, really vibed with the artist, which was kind of important, well, very important, in fact. And yeah, it seems to be, I'm excited to see what you do out of it and what we do together. And yeah, it seems really cool. It's another example of just YouTube kind of going into another space which is linked with the core of it, and it enhances everything overall as opposed to takes away from it.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to find out too, Jamie. We're both of us on a bit of a journey there, and Kwazi Cort's the artist. He's a good guy, and yeah, check him out. I'll link him below as well.
Jake, I loved hearing the story, and I think you could probably tell it better than me on why you set that up as a kind of a senior at Google. Yeah, why you set up Big Community Records. Yeah, well, kind of, I wanted to get involved even before I knew this story, and I thought this story kind of cemented it for me.
Yeah, we've swapped roles here. I'll answer the question, but yeah, I mean, this, to be clear, is a side business. It's nothing to do with Google. It's something I've done on the side, and it was really it evolved from a mentoring relationship I had with Kwazi. He was helping me understand his circumstances growing up in the ends of London, so to speak, from a lower socioeconomic community and a pretty tough set of circumstances. I was doing what I could to help him with business and digital. Music's digital these days. And we kind of fell forward together and decided to work with one another. And that's what led to the founding of Big Community Records. It's a social enterprise on a mission to surface and celebrate creative talent from lower socioeconomic communities. And there's so much talent out there. You know, talent is reasonably evenly spread, but opportunity isn't. So what BCR is endeavouring to do is to pump the oxygen into those places where there's perhaps fewer opportunities, and give artists the stage to shine. And I hope we're successful in that mission. For me, it's an interest and a social mission, but for Kwazi and others that we work with, it's their life. So I take that very seriously, and certainly appreciate your alignment and social conscience in helping with it. Jamie, let's end with this. There's probably people watching who are thinking about becoming an influencer or wondering about expressing themselves creatively, maybe using YouTube or some of the other platforms available, what advice would you give them?
Oh, this is always such a tough one. I always say, and it's a little bit cliche, but why are you doing it? Like, start with why is the cliche, but why do you want to be an influencer? There's a lot of, is it because you want you don't want to live a 9-to-5 job? Then it's probably not for you. Like I said, it was tougher than my already really tough previous business. But saying that, it is a great way to kind of flex your creativity muscles and put that out somewhere that other people can see. In which case, that's great. But doing that to then live 2 hours a week or get paid on 2 hours a week. It doesn't, those kind of things don't really align, because a lot of the creators who you really look up to are working crazy hours. Like, honestly, there's like Logan Paul, who is making serious amounts of money that, again, kind of, I think a lot of businesses would be like, that is an amazing entrepreneur, but kind of don't. But yeah, he's making crazy amounts of money, and he's just, I look at him and go, how the hell is he doing it all? So I think there's a bit of a misalignment with that. So yeah, if you're doing it, do it for the right reasons. Do it to flex your creativity muscles. Do it because you think you can bring something to the world that no one else can. So I've really felt passionate about with me and Zac at the beginning, and now. So yeah, I think I'll leave it at that.
That's great. Do it for the right reasons. Flex your creativity muscles. What a great note to end on. Jamie Rawsthorne, you're an inspiration to me and many others. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thanks a lot, Craig, and you.